Good morning. Welcome to this edition of the Lynne Hayes Freeland Show. So the big question, school, in school, out of school, online, what do you do? It has been the focus of a lot of conversation. It has been the focus of Dr. Anthony Hamlet for, I don't know, weeks, would you say, sir?
Months right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it has, and in a lot of ways, it has consumed you since March.
Since March 13th, when schools closed.
To be exact.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
now you're at this crossroads because September, end of August is around the corner. During this last week, you really had a chance to take all the information that the committees have put together and try to come up with, is it kind of like different options for the fall? Is that where you are?
Yes, we want to come up with different options, and we came up with three basic options that we talked about. Number one, from the very beginning, we always said we need to have an online presence, regardless if we go back in some way in brick and mortar or a hybrid of brick and mortar. Because even if we did go back, there'll still be some parents that's not comfortable with sending their children back. So we want to make sure they had an option to stay in Pittsburgh Public Schools. Next is a hybrid model. The hybrid model is right now we're still working out the details, but I think we're going to land on 2 days on for like an A group and then 2 days on for a B group, based on the CDC guidelines of being spaced out 6 feet apart, et cetera. And so we can only get so many kids in the classroom at one time and be safe, and also follow the protocols and guidelines given to us by the CDC and the health department. But also there may be a space, parents have a choice for online, but there may be a space where we might say, no, everyone's fully online now. Why? We're back in this situation in Allegheny County with mandates from Governor Wolf that we've gone from 250 individuals meeting in person to about 25. And so conceivably, we can't have school with 25 or less individuals in the building. And so that's why we have to reserve the right to say, okay, everybody's online right now based on the current context. And it's not static, it's fluid. It's changing. We get new guidelines on a regular basis. And so we have to be able to adjust and make sure we provide the best and appropriate health and safety measures that we can for our students and faculty and staff and the community at large.
So it seems to me that one of your challenges here is, while everyone is saying, the kids have to get back in school, kids have to go back to school, that's the only way that's the best way kids are gonna learn. Yes. You are trying to deal with a whole lot of different folks. You've got kids, you've got teachers, you've got buses, you've got lunch aides, you've got all of these entities that have to be addressed. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that you can ever, this is just my opinion, I don't know that you can ever make all of them happy.
You know what, Lynn? It's funny. I sent my executive staff a little note today talking just about that. Whatever you do, basically, you can't make everybody happy. There's going to be some people that are angry, whatever you do. And so based on that, we have to make the best decision we can based on the information that we have to, again, make sure that we have a safe environment for our students, our faculty and staff, our employees, and our community. And so that's paramount with Pittsburgh Public Schools. That's our stance. We're not going to play politics when it comes to our safety of our students and faculty.
So all of this other stuff aside, in your gut, what do you feel? I mean, there's a big debate about just how well students learn online. What's your thought on that?
I think students learn, well, number one, there's nothing that's going to take a place of a student being in front of a teacher in the classroom. Nothing's going to take the place of that. But for some students, they'll thrive. Other students, we have to put appropriate supports and interventions in place to make sure that they're meeting the needs of that online environment. And so we'll still have time to pull kids for small group interventions and things of that nature while in the online environment. So we'll still have some of the same normalcy supports that are in place that kids will see in school, but they'll just be dealing with it from home. If we're in the online version, or if they're in the hybrid version and they come 2 days a week, they'll get those supports in that hybrid, in those 2 days for that hybrid support.
Now, help me out here, because hybrid, that's a term that I hear a lot now, and that's kind of this division. Break that down for me. When we use the term hybrid in terms of students A and students B, what does that really mean?
So basically, think about this. If we had a school of 400 students, and we have to look at the capacity of the number of students that can fit into the school in each classroom based on the CDC guidelines. But basically, it will come down to half those students being in school for 2 days, and then they go home and work on online components. The other students, while the A group is in school, they'll be working on online components, and then the B group will come to school for 2 days in person as well. And so it'll be a flip-flop. That's what we mean by a hybrid model.
So then when we talk about, and whether it's the hybrid, and I'll use the hybrid as an example, that probably would work best in terms of transportation, because there have to be challenges. I mean, in my head, it's hard for me to visualize how you get kids to and from school when, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know that I talked to you about it, but maybe it was the director of transportation last year, but there was an issue with bus drivers last year.
Yes, we still have that issue with a national shortage of bus drivers, and Pittsburgh is not unique to that. And one of the things people should know is that Pittsburgh Public Schools, we don't have our own in-house transportation. We contract out with providers in the area. That being said, I think, as I recall, a few of our small providers have closed based on COVID and them not generating income, and so that exacerbates the situation. But you're absolutely right when it comes to looking at students. So I'll give you an example. On a normal 72 passenger bus, 72 kids can get on. Now, only 26 kids can get on. And so we have a breakdown of that from the sizes of our buses and how many kids can fit on the bus at one time based on the CDC guidelines. Yeah, it's interesting. And so it's all these multitude of issues that we have to deal with to make sure we're meeting the requirements and the guidelines and the protocols.
You know what, when you say 26 kids, I got a couple of follow-up questions just on that, but I'm gonna hold them for after the break. So you're gonna stick around. We have a lot more to talk about this morning on the Lynne Hayes Freeland Show, so stick around. We'll be right back.